lot of you know that you need to be on LinkedIn and you need to be posting on LinkedIn, but you have no clue what to post, and that's what keeps you away. In fact, I've heard from a lot of you, like, what do I post on there? I just don't know what to post. So today I am giving you 20 different things that you can post on LinkedIn. So if we haven't met, my name is Cassandra, and I help motivated professionals build their careers and businesses through practical tips to gain career confidence. And that includes posting on LinkedIn. Let's make you confident on your LinkedIn post. So 20 is a lot. This is going to be rapid fire. First, you can post about what you're working on. Now, this could actually be a picture, like maybe you are creating something that's visual. Take a picture of it and add that and tell us what you're working on. Like maybe you have been working on some new promotional materials. Show us the different stages that it went through. That's fascinating to people. Or maybe it's just a written post saying what you're up to for the day, what you're working on for that day. We are all very fascinated by other people's days. This is why The Real World was a TV show. This is why we watch The Real Housewives, even though, well, that one could be kind of fake. Don't lie. But talk about what you're working on. That's interesting to a lot of people. You can take a picture of your workspace. Once again, we love to peek behind the curtain. Like, please show me where you're working from. Somebody asked me once, like, oh, show me a picture of your studio. And I laughed and went, studio? And I showed them that is literally my camera propped on some books on the coffee table with a light behind it. My front door is right behind the camera, y'all. Like, there is no studio. Welcome to my living room. But that interests people. Somebody sees that and goes, oh my gosh, I don't have to have a whole separate room. I can do this in my house. And now they're motivated to start YouTube. So show us your workspace. I also recently showed in a video that I have a very messy dining room table that I work from. People are interested in that. So I would love to see where you work. Take a picture of it. Post that on LinkedIn. Going with the peeking behind the curtain, loving to hear how people do things, why they do things. You know, show us a routine or a system, or write it out. What's your morning routine? What's your evening routine? What's your startup ritual at work, or the way you shut down? This is the kind of stuff people like to know so that they can figure out their own routines, right? We like to see how someone else does it. Even if we're not going to do it the same, it can spark ideas. So you can say that, like, hey y'all, I'm not saying my routine's perfect, but I thought you might be interested in hearing my morning routine. Here's what I do. And then you can further conversation by saying, let me know in the comments, what does your morning routine look like? That interests people. So don't be afraid to share some sort of routine or system. All right, number 4, ask for advice. What is something you want advice on? You know, what is an issue in your business that you would love some help on, or career advice? Like, hey, I just finished college. I am looking to get my first job. What is something you wish someone had told you when you graduated? People love to talk about that sort of thing. And especially if you're watching this video when it comes out, we're right around that graduation period. That's a great one to ask. One that's pretty specific, but I think is really helpful, is talk to us in a post about what your first job was and what you learned from it. You know, you can interpret that how you want. I could be talking about your first job being the very first thing you got paid for, like working at McDonald's in high school, or your first kind of real world job, like working at a top accounting firm, right? What's something you learned from that? People love to hear that kind of content. And then you can also, once again, post the question, what was your first job and what did you learn from it? It gets the conversation going. Number 6, you can celebrate an accomplishment. So if you win an award, or you just land a big deal, or whatever, anything that could be celebrated, you can brag a little on LinkedIn. Now, you can't do this once a week, right? Then you're just like, hey, by the way, I'm awesome. Oh, did you forget? I'm awesome. No, but every now and then, let people know the big award you got, or the place where you were featured. Like, you're allowed to celebrate on LinkedIn, and then you're allowing other people to celebrate with you. Number 7, you can sell on LinkedIn. Tell us about a product that you are selling. Now, you're not going to give a hard sell, but people need to know what you actually do in your business or your side hustle, etc. So don't be afraid to sell something. That is okay. Number 8, what is your favorite part of your job or your business? Let us know. Literally, you can just say, my favorite part of my job job is this. If you can add a picture, cool. If you want to make this a video, awesome. But posting about something that is a favorite is always going to gain attention. It's going to bring other people in because once again, you can ask, what's your favorite part of your job? Okay, number 9. What is your advice for a college student or a new graduate? College students make up a huge part of LinkedIn. They actually have a lot of people at LinkedIn who work just on the student feature because they know those people, if they get them now, are going to stay on the platform for their whole career trajectory. So don't be afraid to make some content that is geared towards students and use the hashtag student voices. No, those might not be your next customer, or they might not be the person who can get you a job if you are a college student, but you can relate to one another. Also, they have parents, they have friends, they have others that think of them. So don't be afraid to kind of mentor and give some advice and wisdom specifically to college students on the platform, because they might be your next intern or your next brand evangelist to sell something. They also might be your next connection to your next job because they tell their boss about you. Number 10, still kind of on that mentoring side, what is advice you give to someone starting out in your industry? Even if you are in an entry-level job, you're close to that, right? Which means you have really good, right in the forefront of your mind knowledge to share with the people right behind you. So talk about what you would advise someone to do if they're just starting out in the industry. This kind of content gets a lot of play on LinkedIn. In a very similar vein, what do you wish someone had told you when you first started work? That's always a great one. People love the, if only someone had told me this sort of content. You're helping somebody not make the mistakes you made. Or you could call it my biggest mistake when I started out in blah, blah, blah. It's just a great way for people to get to know you, to know that you're real and that you're there to help others. It's a great way to start building your brand on the network. Number 12, what are the top 5 trends in your industry? You want to do this every couple of months, maybe once or twice a year, like every 6 months. You can do hey, here are the top 5 trends I've seen in the industry. And you could do multiple posts. You could do kind of a deep dive on one trend and do it 5 times. And you can also do sort of an overview post of these are the 5 things I'm seeing. Doing that sort of posting shows that you're up to date on the industry, you know what's going on. It's going to make you a thought leader in the community. Number 13, quick tips always do well. So you don't always have to write these long posts. Think of one quick tip you can give today and post it on LinkedIn. It could be industry related or just work life in general related. It's going to hit somebody and get your name out there. Number 14, if you are a business owner, do a case study on one of your clients and post that. That's always going to do well for people to see what you've done before and kind of the process of your work through a specific case. And then the next tip, have testimonials. Don't be afraid to post a testimonial from a past client, customer, etc. That's going to build awareness of your brand as well as trust. And we hire people we trust. Number 16, post about a tool or resource that has helped you. Now, I've talked about this on other videos. I love giving a suggestion and I love getting a suggestion. So I think it's awesome when someone goes on LinkedIn and says, hey, I just found this free online resource, blah, 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 blah. Here's what it does for me. I just wanted to put it out there in case you wanted to use it too. Or, this is going to sound crazy, but I switched my pens and now I use this pen and it writes so much faster because the ink is blah, 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 blah. And I just want to let you know, if you're still a person who handwrites all your notes too, you might want to go buy this pen. It doesn't matter what the thing is, but making a recommendation on a tool or resource that has helped you is always going to be helpful to someone else. And that's the kind of thing we want on LinkedIn. Things that are not just helpful to us, but helpful to other people as well. Number 17, don't be afraid to shout someone out on LinkedIn. They actually now have like a feature for this that you can click on to celebrate somebody. So don't be afraid to celebrate a coworker, a friend, a supervisor, anybody on your team. Give somebody thanks or shout them out for some reason on LinkedIn. It's kind of spreading the love, if you will. Number 18, you can always share an article you read, but then add your thoughts to it. kind of summarize a piece of the article or focus on one main point and what it meant to you, and then say, I've linked the entire article below, and it will show up there. Using an article as a way to kind of start your thoughts and to share your thoughts on the article is a nice way to dive into the LinkedIn space without having to create completely original content. Number 19, what is a lesson you've learned recently? If there is something that you just learned, you might want to share that with others. So for example, I have realized that batching a task, is not always the most productive for me. So I batch all my videos. In case you didn't know, all of June's videos are being filmed in one setting. I just switch my shirt, and it's really helpful and productive most of the time. But I've realized with a couple of tasks, the idea of batching, of having to sit down and do like a whole month's worth of Instagram content at once, is overwhelming and keeps me from it. This is a lesson I've learned. I am about to write a post to put on LinkedIn about this lesson because I think it will help some other people. Hey, batching is not always the answer. So if there's some lesson you've learned in business or career or job searching, feel free, be brave, put it out there, because that's the kind of thing other people will learn from and resonate with. Like, oh, thank you for giving me permission that I do not have to sit down and write 4 papers at one time or apply to 5 jobs at one time. I can apply to 1. That it's going to hit somebody when I write that article. Same can be done for you. It doesn't have to be a super deep thought. I'm not saying I'm changing the world here or saying anything revolutionary, but saying that I learned this lesson, somebody else is going to click with it. And then kind of similar but different, number 20, what is a mistake you've made? What is something that you can say, oops, that was a mistake, and this is what I learned from it, and here is how I want to help you not make the same mistake. We talked about something similar in the beginning, but I do think these are different categories. So never be afraid to share a mistake. It shows you're human. Be smart about what kind of mistake we're sharing, right? But it does show you're human and that you can grow and learn. That is number 20. Those were 20 different things you can post on LinkedIn. Let me know in the comments, which are you going to post first? And if you need more LinkedIn content, I got that for you here and in the description box below, and I will see you next time. Bye.